Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining Laugh, Gags, and Gossip tonight. And you guys know I don't go live often. I really, really want to start going live. And can you also let me know if you can hear me? Because I don't go live often. I don't know sometimes if I'm having technical difficulties. But I just had to come on because, this is a trending topic. Everybody is talking about it. And I just wanted to have an opportunity to talk about something that is near and dear to my heart, which is this custody case that Melody and Martell are going through. Um, I do videos on Love and Mess. I call it Love and Mess Huntsville because it's a mess. But I started doing videos on that show about maybe 2 years ago. And I was looking through my DMs and I don't even remember what triggered it. But I sent Melody a DM back in January 2020. And I said, I've been through it. I think she had some kind of a little battle with Martell during the pickups. And so I went to the DMs and I did a couple videos, not much. Hey, Marie, thank you for joining. And so I DM'd her and I was saying God still sits on the throne because I am 10 years out of my custody battle. Hey Deb, how you doing? Hello everybody, thank you for joining. And so I DM'd her and I think I sent her a video because I don't even remember, but I just know, and this was 2 years ago, and I know how hard it was for me and just to see their custody situation play out on the screen. I can't imagine how devastating it is for her, but for me, I'm more concerned with the children. At the time that I was going through my personal case, I was more concerned with my daughter. It's a situation in which you feel like you're going to lose your mind. It's unnatural. I was not married, so it wasn't a dissolution of marriage. So it wasn't, like we were getting divorced. It was solely a custody case. And so that's what I kind of focus on when I look at Melody and Martell, and I look at the brutality and how this is becoming. This video won't be monetized because I want to speak freely, but this is like terror. This is domestic terrorism, in my opinion. And I'm probably using the wrong term, but I think this happens far too often to women, and people don't understand it and they don't take it seriously. And it's also an issue of mental health. I'm trying to read the comments. Hey, L Web. It's an issue of mental health for all parties involved. We are trashing Martell. So let's just recap. Most of you, I'm sure you've heard over the weekend, Martell and Melody were going back and forth. So I was Melody, and my custody started in 2008. My daughter was 8 years old. It wasn't for full custody. It was for joint custody. However, it was very disruptive because he had never had her ever. She had never lived with him regularly. So it was just really like, huh? And I was a good mom and everything. It was like, you can have visitation, but you don't need joint custody. There's no reason to disrupt an 8-year-old's life who was thriving in school and all of that stuff. Another caveat, I had been a litigation secretary, so I kind of knew. I'm in California, so I knew how the law worked. You don't just get to come in and snatch kids up out of their lifestyle. It doesn't work that way. And then you also, a lot of times in California, men do that because they want money. So on my custody situation, one of the first things that he asked for was child support. How do you ask for child support when the kid has never lived with you? So that was a red flag right there. So this weekend we've seen Melody and Martell go back and forth. I am team Melody. Of course I am, because I was a victim. And I don't want to say a victim. I'm going to say I'm a survivor of a very brutal, custody case. And I tell people, my daughter, she's a software engineer. She's graduated from an HBCU, honor student, doing fabulous. And at the time, it was very traumatic. I didn't know how she was going to turn out because a lot of people aren't very supportive in these situations, namely women. And I'm just going to say women, and I'm really saying women because I see how the cast of Love and Mess Huntsville, how the same people that Melody gave an opportunity, how these women are coming publicly and turning against her. And that's really, it's not shocking to me because I experienced it. But unless you've been through it, it's, I said, and I've said it on some other channels, it's like being in the Twilight Zone, or like being in a Lifetime movie. It's surreal. It's like something you will never understand or experience, and would not wish it on your worst enemy. So Melody and Martell are going back and forth. Again, like I said, I am Team Melody. However, Melody, I made mistakes in my case too. Unfortunately, as much as people want her to read Martell, they want her to strike back. This forum, this medium, the internet, YouTube, that's not where she's going to win her case. I'm sorry. This is for people's entertainment. I think a lot of the YouTube channels will say, it's not fact-based. It's all allegedly. It's for entertainment. The videos that we watch about what's going on with Melody and between her and Martell, it's for entertainment, but this is their lives right now. And the people that I feel are most impacted are those children. And so, although I'm with Mel, I'm 10 toes down. Like I said, I was Melody. I want her to whoop his, you know what. But unfortunately, when you are in court, what we think, because we're emotional, what we say, it's not going to help her win her case. So I think I sent her, she had posted something, and I think I posted a message saying, because I thought I saw her post some videos where she was with the children. However, she was responding to Martell. I've been there when I had my daughter, and me and her dad are going back and forth. I'm not mentally present. I wasn't. I'm talking about back in my situation. You can't be mentally present with your children when you're fighting this kind of battle. So sometimes you have to table it, compartmentalize it so that you are fully present. I know Mel is a great mother, but I don't like to see him put her outside of her mothering time to be arguing and fussing and fighting with him when she's with her kids. Like, you get a limited amount of time. They got 50-50, split back and forth between the homes. That time is protected time. It is not time for Martell to be getting up in her head talking ish. No, ma'am. So I think I, kind of made a comment about that. Like, let your parenting time, please, because I made the same mistakes. Don't do it. And also, a lot of the stuff that they're putting out here, let's just keep it real. And I'm no better than the next person. This is seriously just for people. It's a spectacle. Some people really genuinely care. I think a lot of women really care for Melody and want to see her, succeed. They don't. First of all, Martell is not going to get full custody. That's absurd. It's not going to happen. I don't even have to be attorney or paralegal or a secretary on that case to know that it's not going to happen. But in the meantime, all of this stuff that's floating across the internet and on YouTube and Twitter and all across here, the children are exposed to. So one of the things that Martell did this weekend was he released a recording of him talking to Mariah and her saying that Melody had talked to them about Martell, having a child outside of their marriage, and that he cheated and stuff like that. So, there's a debate online back and forth as to whether or not Melody was right or wrong for that. And it's all our opinion, right? And again, unfortunately, what I think people fail to realize is it don't matter what we say, because once you are in a court, once you are under the auspices of a judge, he gets to tell you what's right and wrong. And that's the sad part about all this. It don't matter what we say, It's like now you're relegated to whatever the hell some stranger says about your family. Does the judge think it's right? Well, okay. So I looked up some case law because in my case, I didn't have an issue with the recordings. That wasn't something that I experienced. So I really didn't have a lot of knowledge of it. But what I did find, and I'm going to share, let's see. I found an article about, you know, parents recording their children. And from what I see, I mean, no matter what we say, we got to always understand when you're in these kind of cases, you can't be emotional. You have to be strategic, because you really want to think like the judge. I mean, there's resources. You have to do things to set yourself up for success. So, I mean, this is just an example, and it will differ based on your state, your judge. There's so many variables that will determine the outcome. But basically, this I found this one, and it says, my ex taped my conversations. Is that legal? How does this factor into the custody battle? And so, right off the bat, it says this is a very complicated question. It says, as a general rule, if one domestic party to is conversation, and this is just for Indiana, consents to the recording, it is lawful to do so. And then it's, however, if this crosses state lines, it could change. And then it says, it goes on to talk about different things. But I looked at various sites to see, and here's the thing: him recording her it's not illegal. However, or unlawful, I should say. However, it will depend on whether or not the judge will be able to make the determination as to whether or not they will allow that to be evidence in the trial. So again, we know it's wrong. Who does that? I mean, that's despicable. Who would do something like that? Why would you record your kid? You know what I'm saying? That's one thing. So let's just look at it like this. Okay, Martell, you recorded your baby. That's foul. Okay, but present it to the judge. This is what is sickening. Why would he put that on the internet? That is forever out there in the universe, period. He cannot retract that. Do you know how many people recorded that, did screen recordings, downloaded, whatever they did? You cannot erase that. Now, that part of what he did, I don't know. I would really, as Melody's attorney, I would be interested to see if he can be sanctioned, or if something could happen to him for releasing that information with a minor, even though it's his child, for him to release that audio on the internet. Now, to me, that seems like that is some kind of confidentiality breach. I don't know what it is, but I just feel like it is. And I would think that her attorneys hopefully are able to make a case that he was in the wrong for doing something like that. That's egregious. Like, you put a recording of your daughter on the internet. So now people are debating whether or not Melody was right. I'm going to say Melody was right. I don't think he should have recorded his daughter, but if he did, okay, but present it to the judge. Don't put it on the internet. In terms of Melody talking to her or telling them about the cheating, I think that she's very much so in her right. If you listen to what Mariah said, she says, Mommy has us in therapy. We talk about it. She's being the responsible parent. Martell, this is going to backfire, in my opinion. Some of the things that he's doing publicly, he's making really bad mistakes, because what the daughter said is that Mommy is giving us therapy. Mommy is talking to us. He did not establish the fact that Mommy lied. So those are the things that the judge looks at. Like, did Mommy lie about it? No. Are these things factual? Yes. The judges will look at, are you discussing things that are age appropriate? If you did go have a baby by another woman, then she did not lie, sir. I know some people were like, oh, it's not, kids don't need to know that. Unfortunately, there's so much information on the internet, they will know it. And it's better that the mom sits down and says it before your kid goes to a damn party, a birthday party, and be laughed at and mocked fun of by somebody saying, oh, your daddy had such and such. I remember when my daughter was in school, one of the little girls, it was some little kids in a class, and they were young. And one of the little girls said, they were having community time, and one of the little girls said, my mommy doesn't like so-and-so's mom because her dad such and such or whatever. And these kids were like in second grade, of course, my daughter told me. And it's like, so if kids that young are talking about stuff that they hear in their homes, damn well somebody in Huntsville, from what I hear, ain't never been to Alabama, but it's so small, these kids are overhearing conversations. At some point, it's going to come up. Cecilia Anderson said kids are mean. Kids are mean. And sometimes kids just be regurgitating stuff that they heard. So I think that Mel was doing the responsible thing of telling them. If I remember correctly, there was at some point, Mel, I think on one of the seasons, they even discussed, when are you going to tell the kids? And he was like, I'll tell them in my due time. So she already was trying to allow him to have the discussion. Again, I remember that. I remember some conversations like that. If you guys know, if you remember it, refresh my memory, please. And she was telling him, talk to the kids. If he did not take that opportunity to, have the age appropriate discussion about the fact that there's going to be a new addition to our family, then that's on him. And I don't see how people could feel that Melody was in the wrong. I don't believe that she told those children, and I don't think that I know she ain't told Sugar Mama. So let's talk about it. She probably told the kids that were a little bit older, the ones that she thought might hear this, might be affected, might hear it at school, and kind of understand what's going on, and just wanted to prepare them. That's what I think. So I think that she was trying to get ahead of it, and then I think there was a comment about cheating. Well, you cheated. So kids want to understand, why aren't we a family? And so we have conversations, when you go to mediation, they have books and stuff. You tell the kids, there's a way that you tell the kids the truth. And they also tell us to talk in a way that they can understand, that's going to be age appropriate. Cecilia says they talked with them at Bronze Spring Park in downtown Huntsville. It was on one of the seasons. Yes, they did, and that even got me. I mean, I cry over anything, but I remember Tank was saying that he cries, and that hurt me because I know how devastating it is, and he's a male child, right? So we used to hear little girls cry, but we don't let our boys cry. We don't give them the opportunity to be self-expressive. And when that was the stab, because I love the fact that he was able to articulate it. That to me says that, they going through a rough spell right now, Martell and Melody, but the fact that Tank could articulate that he cries, it hurt me to hear it, but I was applauding him and applauding them, because that's a real moment. Our boys, our children should be allowed to show emotions. They are at the helm of this. They are the ones impacted by this. And the fact that somebody has taught this young man, it's okay to cry. You hurt. And it's okay to talk about it. I thought that was awesome. It was awesome. It was hurt. I think I did cry. I think I cried. He can't now try to show the world he cares about his kids when he left the house during a pandemic. Stop it. Absolutely. But we got to understand the mentality of the person that we're dealing with. These men who create these fires, they create these storms, but it's everybody else's fault. You made me do it. Y'all made me do it. They never take ownership. Who knows what went on behind closed doors in their marriage? We don't know, only they really know the real. However, what we do know is that this man had a relationship, I think it was about 7 years, and he created a baby. And that's enough for me to know that you just went a little bit too damn far, sir. You don't be bringing no damn babies into the marriage. So now when this woman, and then not only that, the baby he had was around the same age, close enough in age to Sugar Mama. Come on now. You left her no choice. And so she had to move on. And I believe people are calling him a narcissist. He hasn't been diagnosed as far as I know. I try to go by the book in these cases because, I know that's how you win. Unfortunately, it's not on emotion. It's basically on facts and what you can prove. People are saying he's a narcissist, and I would say his behavior is showing that. It's like typical narcissist behavior. Um, it's everybody, and the fact that Melody got away, he's angry. Do I believe he wants joint custody? Hell no. Now, when I was going through my custody case, I forget what the numbers were, the statistics, but I think it was overwhelmingly something like over 60 to 70% of the fathers who were awarded, because California is a joint state anyway, but even with joint custody, I'm not even talking full custody, but even with joint custody, I think it was like 60 to 70% of the fathers, when they got their parenting time, they weren't with the kids. The kids were carted off, shifted off to somebody else. And over the course of time, if it wasn't a financial benefit to them, then they a lot of times would just not even, show up to pick the kids up or even deal with it. Every now and then was fine enough. I mean, this is statistic. You guys can go, I don't know, for different states, you can have your, information, but overwhelmingly, a lot of the men who even had it, and let me back up here. There are some great fathers. There are some good dads. I even want to say, even in my custody case, because my mother still gets pissed about it. She can't stand the man. But I have to remind her, even though we went through this horrible situation, I do feel that, and y'all, some people probably say, girl, you crazy. I do feel that he did love our daughter. I do, in his warped sense of, of love and all of that. I don't, what happened, which I think is happening to Melody, is that they do love their kids. I believe they do love their kids, but they hate you so much and they want to hurt you so bad that the love for their children, they're willing to destroy anything to destroy you. And that's how I feel because of the situation I was in. And I'm seeing some of the similarities, some of the same behaviors. Does Martell want those kids full time? No, I don't believe so. I really don't. Cecilia says he's mentally still the same, just as it was when he worked at the Madison County Jail in his early 20s when he was arrested with other family members. Not saying allegedly because it was in the Decatur News. I mean, I believe you. I mean, you said in his early 20s. So, some of these men, you said mentally still the same, but there's some mental illness in that. That because he has become obsessed. I think a lot of times people don't realize that they think that you're being crazy, but when people start doing stuff like this, because they hate, clearly this is hate. There's no way around it. Because I used to have to remind myself when I wanted to act an ass and just get ugly, I always had to say, no, I love her more than I hate him. I had to say it. Hate is a strong word, but when you're going through situations like this, you do tend to hate people. It is a natural human emotion. And his hate is so strong that I'm kind of, even when I was going through it, you fear that this person can do something violent. When a person starts to unravel, because he's doing this all in front of us. Like, it's not even, sometimes abusers, like, people that are verbally abusive, they'll kind of do it like you guys, I know you guys can't see me, but they'll be doing it in your ear. Like, you'll be at a party, right? And the person, they just an a-hole. They want everybody to think outwardly they're Prince Charming and they're the wonder. You guys are the fabulous couple and you're good looking together and da 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 da. But in your ear, they whispering a little nasty-ish, right? And you kind of smiling. I believe that some of that happened with Martell and Melody, because I remember her even saying, they said that they could fight at home, not literally fight physically, but that when they would get into, when they did their public speaking, they were Team Holt, right? So I believe that Melody, oftentimes, because I'm sure a lot of us have done it, we would be with the verbal abuser while they spit and ish in our ear and just kind of grin and bear it, because we don't want people to know what's really going on. And, we have this persona, oh, we're the happy couple. You just don't want nobody to know. Fear for you. I believe that he could do something. I believe that he could get angry enough if he feels that he's losing everything. Because this thing with Shari, I don't know what's going to happen with that. The coleslaw, everybody keeps saying, oh, they keep saying that Ariane has stuff on him. I don't personally think that Ariane has no more dirt on him than his wife of 17 years or however many years they were married. I don't think she has any more dirt on Martell than Melody. What I think is that he don't give a damn about Ariane. Like, he was married to Melody. Okay, they got 4 kids, 17 years. You can't compare apples to oranges in this instance. So I think that Ariane just she's a non-mother effing factor. Let's just say that. It's somebody that he had some little side activity with, got caught up, and she was there, and that's it. But and that's just my opinion. I don't think Ariane has nothing on him. I think she's just easily manipulated by him. He don't really give a damn. Ariane is gonna be there. She's an easy piece, and that's it. That's all. Melody, however, he's lost a life. Come on now, you guys think about it. He feels like she has pulled the rug from underneath him. It's all her fault. You exposed me. Remember when he was, okay, Always Me says, the recording is not admissible in court. Yes, as the child's parent, he can approve recordings, pics, and video of the child. He wants Mel to look as bad as he does publicly. And that's what I was saying. The judge has to decide if it's admissible. I mean, and I think they say something about there has to be evidentiary, there has to be a reason. So the judge can make that determination, but for the most part, it's not admissible. But parents can, record their children. But It's Me, what is horrible is the fact that he released this nonsense on the internet. For what? Why are you doing that? We have no ability to make a ruling in this case. What it's going to show, you guys, I may be getting off topic, so jump in the comments and tell me go back to what you were saying. What it's going to prove, or what it's going to look like, again, like this article that I have here. Once you're going through this case, the attorneys will tell you, be very careful, because there's that thing called parent alienation. Parent alienation is when you start bashing the other parent, not just publicly, but enough so that, the kids can hear. Martell is doing it beyond that scope. He's doing it on the internet. They tell you, do not do that. Let me see. Cecilia says, fear for her safety. Exactly. I feel like if he feels that he's losing his public image, his finances, I mean, people, when I was going through it and I was like, I'm scared, because my mom was like, girl, that man will, unalive you. And at first I was like, no, but as the behavior started getting more crazier, then I started getting scared myself. And then sometimes you even start to fear, when men hate you that much and they're that angry, they will hurt your babies to hurt you. And we just saw a case like that maybe a month ago. Remember, where the father unalived himself and the 3 kids? This is a fact. Just because Martell is on reality TV does not mean he's above or incapable of doing something like that. It's possible. Cecilia says, absolutely, It's Me. Why does he hate her? He created because, okay, again, my experience, my opinion, because when you're dealing with a man like that, first of all, Martell seems to be very high on himself. He's a nice looking man, attractive on the outside, but the inside must be just horrible. And I mean, he probably has a high opinion of himself, and just the arrogance of it. And you're just supposed to deal with it. Oh, what I was going to say is, you guys remember early on when after all of this came out about him cheating, all he ever told Melody, he wasn't apologetic about the cheating. He kept saying, why would you go online and tell people that, Mel? That should have been in our household. And then remember, there's that one scene where Mel he said, why didn't you keep that in our household? And she said, why didn't you keep your penis in the household? Remember? He's more concerned about what he looks like. Like, if that's a concern, if you don't want people to think you're a cheater and a loser, then you wouldn't do that. It doesn't matter what she told. Did you do it, sir? Did you do it? That's the problem. Like he was saying, he cried when Mariah gave him that information. Did you cry because it's the truth? Are you crying because you're being outed, because your real character is being shown? And then, in multiple instances with Martell, people can present him with facts and he will deny it. He will deny it in your face. And so I think you said, why does he hate Mel? Because she stood up and she's not taking it. And how dare you? So see, remember, there are other men, and my dad cheated on my mom, right? But so men have like a I guess it's like a little clique or some oath that they take. If it's a group of men, if one of them is cheating, most of them are all covering for each other. You say in Alabama, you must go through parenting class. I did. Yeah. So we went through parenting class as well. So for us, because like I said, I was a secretary, so I kind of knew the things that I wanted, and I wanted him to go through parenting classes. So for us, I suggested that we go, and I said, I want to go too. Listen, I love my kid, so maybe I need to learn something too. So I was cool with going. So they made me go for 3 weeks, and I think he had to go for 3 months. Okay. Now I'm laughing about this, you guys, because the key to this one is he's filed the papers on me for custody. I had never filed child support papers or anything, and after he took me and filed for child support, it kind of backfired on him, and that's what I think is going to happen to Martell. And he ended up having to pay child support to me. So he was like, that's when he started hating me. So I think it's the same thing with Martell. He has launched this thing against Melody, but it's not turning out the way that he wants. And see, that's another thing. People get in their ear and tell them, man, you could do this, you could do that. No, you can't. It's a lot of stuff, because the things that he's doing now, I'm pretty certain that they're going to backfire. Parent alienation is one thing that her attorneys can bring up. You're publicly trying to humiliate this woman. He puts up a picture trying to insinuate, correct, the courts hand out those papers and they don't play about kids and not putting their well-being. Exactly. Cecilia, what state are you in? Because I'm in California. So I'm just interested to know what state you're in, because I know every state is different, but I think, most of the laws are very similar, with the basics. So, okay. You can send me something. Go to IG. I don't, I'm on IG. Listen, I don't use these public forums as much as the kids. So IG, I'm TEELGG. So you can DM me. I'm TEELGG. Oh, Hunts. Oh, so you in Huntsville, so Oh, so you need to be telling us the law and how things are in the judges and how it works. See, in California, we are a default, 50-50 joint custody, joint legal, and usually joint physical, because, with the California, with the prices so high, these men, they do not want to pay child support, right? So in my case, it was I was blindsided because I hadn't filed for child support. So it was like, huh? What? Why after this kid is 8 years old, all of a sudden you want joint custody? Like, what? And I had gotten a new job, and I believe, just like people were saying about Melody, probably want to see my finances, whole bunch of other stuff. But let me tell you what, it really wasn't about wanting to be a joint custody parent, physical custody. That was not his aim. It was just to hurt me and to make my life miserable. Cecilia says Alabama, Huntsville, and say that again. So yeah, so you said, why does he hate Mel? So I believe he hates her because this is backfiring. It's not playing out well. Why does he hate her? He's lost a lot. It's his fault. Yeah, we know it's his fault. But no, he looks at Mel as the reason that these things are happening. She was just supposed to be the good little wife. Like, remember he said, the older men said, oh, there's a way to cheat. and just cheat better. Don't get caught. All of this stuff. So he expected Melody to go along with that. You're my long-suffering wife. And the fact that Melody is not going along with it and she's still flourishing and doing good. Come on now. A man who would try to get full custody from the mother, we know why he hates her. Because he can't control her. Another thing I wanted to talk about is how he's going on there. He's already used Mariah with this audio. How he put Tank out there with the whole jewelry thing. I thought that was terrible too. That's another person. That's another thing about control. I understand as parents, we have a right to say, no, your contact. Oh, what you mean? Are you saying how can you contact me? I'm sorry, Cecilia. I thought you said how can you send me something, and I'm saying connect with me on IG TEELGG. Go follow me there, and I can send you my email or whatever on there. I'll do it, kind of behind, Cecilia said she's blessed and highly favored. So I was saying, I think you came in a little late, Cecilia. I was saying back in 2020, I had DM'd her, Melody, and told her God still sits on the throne because, when I was going through my situation, I didn't have people. I didn't know. None of my friends I've had friends that have gone through divorces, but nobody had any a horrific custody situation like I had. And my custody situation, it got to the point where the whole school knew about it, right? We became the Addams family of the school. Like, the couple that people are laughing at, like, are they going to act the fool today at the basketball game? I mean, it's like you're in a fishbowl. So I can imagine just what I felt. And Melody being in the public, I mean, she's got, millions probably of people. This is being talked about all up and down social media. And her kids, at the end of the day, as bad as it is for you, I think you really want to protect your kids. When your kids were going through this, and I saw when, like Tank saying he was crying, I remember my daughter, when we would go to basketball games, she was she was great in basketball. A very great athlete. And I'm glad that she had outlets and activities to keep her from, kind of going under with all the drama that was going on in our lives. And I was a party to the drama, you guys. That's why I say I'm Team Melody. But Melody, you got to fight this in another way. Let him put all this information out there so that it can be used against them. Because anything you put out there, it can and will be used against you. So, I know we want to see her go for the Marcel, the Scots and all this. No, I really want to see her have peace. Get with your kids, be a mom, and don't worry, like, do a little bit, because I know it's hard not to fight back, but don't get caught up in it, because seriously, this is not helping your case. None of this is helping their case. It can help her use it against him, but her speaking out and just fighting with him is mainly people looking at it as a spectacle, something for us to gossip about, and people to be like, girl, I'm glad it ain't me. And I knew when I was going through mine, I said this earlier, shout out to Chef Don and Hey Girl, Hey. I was telling Chef Don earlier today that I knew when I was going through it, people, would talk behind my back. My daughter would hear them saying things about the case. Some people would laugh at it. Some people were genuinely concerned, and cared. But most people, it was just like, ooh, child, I'm glad it's not me. And like Les Brown said, I always remember this. Les Brown says, 50% of people don't care. And the other 50% of people are glad it's you and not them. So before you get out here, fighting and making a spectacle and putting all your damn business out in the streets, think about it. Think about your kid. I'm talking about it now because that's a decade, damn near a decade behind me. I think we finally stopped going to court in 2012, 2013 when she went to high school. So, and now I share my story because there are other women who are going through this. And when I was going through, I didn't have social media. I didn't have people. I had a few people praying for me, but I didn't have, I mean, I just really thought I was going to die. I couldn't eat. I mean, and for the first year and a half that it happened, then you start to get used to it because you have to keep going to court. But let me go to the chat and see because let me see. Rod says he sound like a scorned ex-husband. It's over. Leave her alone. Exactly. What she does is none of your business anymore. Exactly. I mean, but you got to think about it, Rod. Remember, Melody, she's got these businesses. She had that she has her singing career. She's an influencer. She's doing well, and she's still on the show. And she has a good relationship with Carlos King. So he is just livid. Like, you didn't do what I said. I was the husband and the boss and this and that, and you had the audacity to divorce me. Because I even think there was one scene when he was like, "You ain't going nowhere." Maybe I just put that in my mind, y'all. I don't know. I could have just put that in my mind. Hey, Neek, thank you. Go Mel. Exactly. We are holding her up. And you know what? And it's not just Mel, it's any woman going through this and being terrorized by a man. Because ladies and Rod, it's not just the woman, it's the kids. When I look at the hierarchy of the people that I'm most concerned about, I really look at the children. Because like I said to Chef Don earlier, as an adult, we can vent. Like I'm talking to you guys now. We can talk to our girlfriends. We can have a little glass of wine and talk about it. You get to talk about it at work, for the people who rally around you, your little tribe. But really, look at Mariah, look at Tank. Who do they get to talk to? My kid, I have an only child, so she really didn't have anybody. She just read a lot. And then she told me at one point she wanted to stay at school a lot because that was a safe place for her. Not that there was physical violence, but when your parents are going back and forth to that degree, it's not a happy place to be. That hurts a mother. That hurt me, that my child, because I felt like, what did I do wrong, y'all? I'm holding back the tears because it don't take much for me to lose it when I look back. You want to protect your child. And when you go through, you say, what did I do wrong? What am I doing? You feel crazy. You feel out of control. You feel like you're the laughing stock. I see pictures of Melody. She posted something today where she was talking about her FN, giving the discount. And I see myself in that she's still trying to hold it together. And she is holding it together. No, look, she is still bossing up. She's still doing it. But there's something in the back of your eyes. I don't care who you are. When your kids are at the center of this, you got God, you got everything. But there's a I don't want to say a sadness. I don't know what it is, but there's something where I don't know. You would just have to be there to understand it. We are trying our best to fight. It's like you're paddling against water to keep your head above. But when you look deep, deep in the eyes, there's a sorrow, there's a hurt, and there's a pain. I don't think she's sorry because of Martell. No. But when you're a mother going through this, it's hard because you think about your kids. It's a pain. It's a struggle, and I see that in her face. To me, third baby mama. Who did I say? Third baby mama? I don't know. No, let me see. Did somebody say third baby mama? Okay, Rod says I believe he has abused coleslaw. Melody and the third baby mama, she didn't play. She got her a pistol. Oh, okay. So now there is a rumor, allegedly, that there is another child. Now, I don't know. I did see a blogger. Oh, man, I wish I could remember her name. I'm sorry, you guys. I don't remember her name, but there's one blogger who came out yesterday and said that somebody sent her a picture of a baby saying that it was Martell's, allegedly. And so I went in her comments and she said she wasn't going to post it unless she gets receipts. And I said, I just put it in her comments, just my opinion. I said, please don't post that baby's picture without consent. Because if it is Martell's baby, regardless of what the situation is, The mother may not want her kid's picture out there like that. And number two, that is against the law. If you don't have the consent of the parents to post pictures of minors, you might be having a lawsuit. So, I mean, I know we all want a good story and you want to be the first to get some stuff out there, but receipt or no receipt, don't do that. You know, just don't do that, because I wouldn't want it done to my child, and I wouldn't, the Eminem kids, their pictures are public already. It's a lot of pictures of them on the internet. They're on television. That's different. But for private citizens and like a baby, oh, hell no. Don't go on there posting nobody's baby up there. Now, that's what we don't do. That's just my opinion. Yeah, so Cecilia, I don't know who the third baby mama is, but yeah, we've heard that there's another baby, or two actually. I mean, people say a lot of stuff, but Cecilia is in Huntsville, so you should know, girl. Yeah, I mean, you let us know. You let us know if it's a third baby. Cecilia says Tisha is being abused. Her husband is mentally and physiologically or psychologically abusing her. And what does she do? Try to drag another one. The Tisha, that's a whole nother, Tisha and Marceau, that is a whole nother video. But yeah, I think he treats Tisha, I hope I'm saying Tisha, he treats her like a child, like she's one of his kids. And I mean, he comes with these riddles. He thinks he's so much smarter than everybody else. I mean, that's what pisses me off about him. Like, if you ask him a question, he'll be, well, it's the stars to the moon, to the left, to the right, because if it dangles to the far north, it's an east. It's like, sir, it's a yes or a no. You know what I'm saying? But then he wants to call other people out for doing the same things that he does. So, Marceau, I honestly, I don't like Marceau. I just don't like him. Tisha, Michael says Tisha is brainwashed. I think so too, because remember though, Marceau is a provider. So I think Tisha kind of enjoys the lifestyle, because I know she has 2 masters. I know that she's went to school. But my daddy used to tell me, because I went to college. I finished college. My daddy used to say a fool can finish college. All you got to get is a C. So I'm just saying, I think you have to have a 3.0 to have a master's. But Tisha, she just doesn't, I don't want to bash her either, because I don't really like to bash the women. I don't, but I really didn't like the way Tisha, I don't like the way a lot of the women on that show, in my opinion, have turned against. Y'all forgive me because I keep saying in my opinion. Hell, I'm the one talking. Of course, it's just my opinion. I don't know. This is just how I feel. So I'm going to quit saying IMO, in my opinion. I don't like the way the women turned against her. She done put all these women on the show. Now, all of a sudden, they signed with Martell, or they got some sideways stuff to say, and kind of all going against her. What I will say is I had the same experience. Ladies, I don't know why this happens, but anytime it's a couple, for whatever reason, it seems that the women will side with their husbands because the husbands may still support the man. So you, as the female, will sometimes be out on your own, and the women can be treacherous. You would think that women would have her back. And even if you don't have her back, you ain't got to publicly go and talk ish about her. You know what I'm saying? It's like, y'all, my mouse, it looks like it's frozen. So I can't put the comments up. But even if you don't necessarily want to publicly support her, don't go liking comments and things, because when you're doing that, that kind of makes it look like you are against her. This is a person who gave y'all an opportunity. I'm just shocked. Tisha, Kimmy, even, I mean, Shari dealing with Martell. Oh wait, it says my camera was unplugged. I don't know what's going on, y'all. Can you guys still? Am I still here, you guys? Can you guys still hear me? I'm having some technical difficulties. Okay, so you guys can still hear me. So I'm just going to read the comments for, like I said, I can't put them up on the screen. Something happened. But Michael says, Melody acts full of herself. She don't act the same. Melody acts full of herself. She don't act the same with them. She acts like she's better than them. So Michael, let me say this. As a fan of the show, I don't agree with everything that Melody does with the group. I don't. She's like an EP on the show. So not that she's better, but she does have a higher position and she's in a position of control. I don't agree with everything in terms of, you know, what's happening with Melody. However, when it comes to this custody case, I'm 100% Melody. Now, I know some people are team Mel no matter what happens. That's not me because, you know, nobody is perfect. I said, even in my own situation, I was not perfect. So when it comes to her relating to the women and stuff like that for the show, for purposes of the show, you know, yeah, she does her little stuff. But when you're talking about custody and you're talking about things that impact families and children and stuff like that, I just think the women should have a little bit more integrity. Like step away from it because it could be you. And Tisha running around here trying to, oh, my husband would never, and he ain't. Lady, you got to be dumb as dirt. I mean, I don't. How in the world do you not know that this man has allegedly, more than likely, cheated? I'm just confused. Like, huh? That's what got me with Tisha. Is the fact that she was, you know, constantly trying to point fingers at Melody. Any woman could get cheated on. Ain't nobody above getting cheated on, and no man either. And just the way that she was trying to make Melody look bad, that's what really just annoyed me with her. Michael says that doesn't mean they have to go along with her. That ain't real. I agree with you. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that's what I said. I don't agree with everything in terms of the show stuff. I'm 100% with her when it comes to this custody. Any man that goes for full custody, unless the mother is a drug abuser or violent or something, I just think there's a special place in hell for you. I don't ever see, you know, somebody trying to separate a mother from a child. You gave birth to these kids, Negro. You didn't. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand that your kids too, you should be able to see your kids too. They got joint custody. That's what it is. You created this situation, so you got to deal with the fact that it's joint. But no, he wants full custody. No, you just want to hurt Melody. So when you talk about the they may not feel she needs custody, Michael, okay, Michael. Ladies, I mean, y'all, some of y'all got to help me with Michael. First of all, they may not feel she needs full custody, but I promise you, Michael, we could have a little wager on this. He will not get full custody. And I don't care. There's no court that's going to award some of the things that he's putting out there publicly. You guys, I'm so sorry that I cannot put the comments up because he is saying that she had 20 some odd people babysitting her kids. Let me say this. Okay, he could ask the judge to order that they only have maybe 3 or 4 people babysit the kids. Why does that have to equate to full custody? That makes no sense. The judge can still order that, you know, you have a certain amount of people, a select group of people to keep the kids. So we're going to take joint custody off the board because that doesn't make sense. The next thing he said is he doesn't want no men watching the kids. Okay, that's not even gonna fly, I don't believe, because that's discriminatory. How you gonna mandate that no man can watch the children? Because if you go to daycares, a lot of these daycares, they have men and women working there. So they can't go to any daycares where there are men around. They can't go to any extracurricular activity facilities where there are men. Like, what are you saying? Like, where does it stop? That's unrealistic. Now, again, the judge can determine how many people can watch the kids, but to say that a man can't babysit the kids, no. I think most of the things when you talk about legal, when you talk about joint legal, they talk about things like religion. I forget now, religion and schools and stuff like that. But I have never seen anything talk about the gender. given the fact that we are in such a hyper gender sensitive society right now with trans people and gay rights and everything, do you think a damn judge is going to sit up there and risk ruling something like that and be all over the news and have people have him possibly be asked to step down as a judge because he made some stupid mandate about no men can babysit these kids? Nah, I don't think so. I don't think I don't think that's okay. So you said you're not against her. I don't think that's gonna fly though. I really don't. Some people are saying that he made that comment because her brother is gay. Again, that's part of her family. I mean, he could be around the kids on her time. It's her choice. Now, if the kids are in a dangerous situation, or he is able to identify something that occurred, that's different. But just to say you don't want men babysitting your kids, I don't think that's going to work. And then when he talks about the number of people, when your kids go to daycare, my daughter went to daycare, they had a staff of about 10 or 15 people. So his arguments just don't make sense. They're not logical, because you're saying you don't want that many people over your kid. If your kid goes to a daycare, they will be exposed to that many different adults. So, I mean, I don't know. That one just doesn't make sense to me. So I'm going to try to go. Let me see if I can go to, let's see. So, and hey, AT2, I'm having some technical difficulties, so I can't put the comments on the screen. Let me see if this will work out. Oh, there. Okay. I have touch screen, so I just use my finger. So that's working. Tamika says at Michael, and it doesn't mean he is the best. Exactly. Well, hell, we know he ain't the best place, because the decisions that he's making, putting your kid, embarrassing your child, talking about what they wore to school. That's a conversation you have privately. Okay, let me get back. Tamika says, at Michael, it doesn't mean he is the best place either. She wanted to get nannies, but can he afford them nannies he want to get? No, Tamika. I from what I'm understanding, I think he's having some financial difficulties, right? Yeah, so I don't think he can afford the nannies. So Sunny Sunshine says, Michael, do you think she needs full custody, or do you think the way this man is treating his ex-wife and children are safe, healthy, respectful? Where do you stand, Michael? Real talk. Sunny Sunshine. So for me, I kind of feel like I think Martell needs some serious therapy. It should be mandated, because I know the judge, because somebody mentioned earlier, they said that the judge had ordered him to go to therapy. Unfortunately, the judges can make a lot of orders that nobody complies with. So then you have to get sanctions, and then, the attorneys have to enforce it. And then if he does it consistently, of course, you have to, file the papers. Then he can start to lose some of his parenting time. I think he needs some serious parenting. I don't necessarily want the kids removed. Like, I'm conflicted on that. And I'm going to just be honest. I don't want their custody arrangements changed too much, because I still think that the kids have gotten accustomed to some of this. And unless Melody, because she's closer to the situation and their families, not just what we see him, doing on this, publicly, because he's acting a damn fool. But if Melody really has a fear or thinks that her kids will be in harm, then yes. But other than that, I think that, again, will it hurt the kids? Because I even when kids are in these kind of situations, they love both parents. There's almost like a Stockholm syndrome. And when you heard Mariah telling her dad that her mom had set her down and, was talking, I really feel like the kids are torn. They want to make brownie points with both parents. They love both parents. They really don't know what's going on. So she's telling her dad, but she's also saying her mom gets them therapy. So, the kids are conflicted. They want to be loved by mom. When I'm with mom, I need mom to love me. When I'm with dad, I need dad to love me. And so they try to tell us as parents how we're supposed to support the kids. But I mean, I'll be honest, hell, when you're going through these kind of battles, you so mad, you're thinking about, you not paying attention to how you really should do good things. You're just trying to hurt the other parent too. I said before, I'm guilty. I did not always put my daughter's best interest first. I tried to do it, I think, more than he did. But you're angry, so you lash out. Let's see. So honestly, back to that, I really do feel that probably in the courts and the mediators, everybody who's probably, seeing all the intimate details of the case, probably the kids should still definitely have a joint situation. I don't know what their schooling is like. I don't know how their schedules are established. So and I think, honestly, I think that what I asked the judge is to allow my daughter to make the decision. I did not want, at that time, she did not want to go. So when we first started and he wanted joint custody, I said I was okay with it until my daughter said she didn't want to do it. Once she told me she didn't want to do it, then I was her advocate. You're not going to come and disrupt her life. We need to find out why she doesn't want to do it. So I think that they should also take into consideration what the kids want to do. The older kids, maybe if they want to go with their dad more. I mean, I don't know. But I just don't want to see their custody. I don't want it to change drastically. And usually it won't change drastically. It will usually be step ups. They do it in like 4 to 6 month increments. Cecilia says he only wants full custody so he can get money. Exactly what does he do? Yeah, I don't know. I think right now he's trying to be a cast member on our HOA. I don't know if he's like a friend. I don't know if he gets a check for that. I don't know if Shari is going to be fronting him. Like that whole pool. Remember, y'all, the first story that came out was they weren't together. He was building a pool. So maybe he's making little side money, doing little construction projects. I don't know. Michael says, I'm not against her. I'm watching the same show you are. Michael, okay. So I get that you're watching the same show, but I will say, let me venture to say this. Men and women, we are socialized differently. So we're probably going to see this a little differently. Would you or would you not agree? I'm just saying. Now, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but you said you're watching the same show. But do you think, like, from what you see of Melody, and just on a superficial level, from what you hear about custody, because maybe you've never been through it and you don't know a lot about it, would you want to take a child? And if you have children, do you think that it's in the best interest to bash the mother of the children? I mean, do you think that the kids would not want to be in the presence of their mother and want to have limited visitation with their mother? It's kind of almost unnatural. And I'm not saying that men don't have equal rights to women. Please, I don't want to say that. So you got to be so careful. How do you say this? How you say it? But when children are born, men don't breastfeed. Men are not women. They are. We incubate them. It's like there's so many. There are things that the connection they have with these babies that men just don't have. I'm not saying they aren't equally as important. So to me, when you look at the biology of a mother and a child, I don't see that it's natural to just take children from their mothers. I don't think they should be kept from their fathers either. Don't get me wrong. I don't believe in the bitter baby mamas. Even in my situation when mine was acting an ass, I never kept my kid away from them. Even when I got money or did, it's not about the money. Like I think a decent mom wants her child to have their father. Who doesn't? Like, that's crazy. Why would you have a kid and want a fractured family? I mean, come on now. We grow up with this fairy tale, Snow White and all that garbage, with the y'all, I'm so terrible. I called it garbage, but you know what I mean. We grow up with that fairy tale. So when you are a mother and you give birth, you want an intact family. So what mother does not want her kids to be around their father? No. AT2 says, I remember someone said Melody's brother is gay and that's why he didn't want a man to watch his kids. Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying. So initially, when it first broke, that he was saying he didn't want men over their children. Yeah, a lot of people were saying it was because he's gay. But then he came back and said, no, that's not the case. We visit them all the time. Her brother is gay and married, so he has a husband. So I mean, to me, the way it sounded is that, yeah, it's probably because he doesn't want males, brother and husband, watching his kids. But unfortunately, sir, you got to see, that's the thing. When people do things, if you're in a marriage and you do these things to derail your marriage, then there are consequences that you can't control. And on Melody's parenting time, no, she can have her brother watch her kids. So I think Martell said if she would just agree, and Melody could agree. She could agree that no, we'll have she could just comply and agree. But I think what Melody wants is, she's just defiant and saying no, because I just don't think it's fair. It's like, you don't get to dictate everything. You don't effed up the marriage. You don't destroyed the marriage. Now you're telling me, no, it's none of your business. You are no longer the half in that marriage. It's over. And you're still trying to run and control stuff. And you're still with Ariane and Knox. It's just too much. Tamika says he definitely is trying to get a bag to keep supporting the other child he has, as well as keeping the other baby mama quiet. Now, you guys remember Ariane, apparently she had a car accident or something, and that BMW, I guess, is gone. See, Martell before, that's another thing. Remember when he was with Melody, he was able to do a lot of things for Ariane because he had the money, Melody's money, the joint finances of the marriage. Can't do it now. So you stuck like Chuck. So Ariane, with this baby, you got the baby. Girl, all of this karma is coming back to haunt you. Now I heard people talking about she can't get a car. Where's the car? He cannot keep her in the lifestyle they had before. Remember the helicopter rides? Those are all out the window. Now what you have are memories. Keep looking at those pictures, because now, but from what I see, you got your kid, Paris and Knox. You're sitting at home going to Chuck E. Cheese while this man is still sending stuff to his ex-wife behind the scenes that he still loves her. And in New York with Shari on another Housewives reality show that you are desperately dying to do. And now you sitting at home with a baby. A baby. And Melody is out there making power moves. And you get to witness all this. The man that you fought so hard for, that you had this baby for, has moved on to and she called her an old bitch, right? To this old chick. I mean, come on. What kind of karma is that? I would be sick. Oh my goodness. Let's see what Cecilia said. A teacher is watching your child. A male teacher is watching your child. There's nothing on book about gender denial for watching the kids. Exactly. He was a teacher too, right? At some point he was a teacher, so that doesn't even make sense. You were a teacher, so AT2, I just want to clarify, I wasn't saying it was wrong them being gay. I was just explaining that's what someone told me. Is no AT2, no, I know you're absolutely right. No, I didn't take it you saying that it was wrong them being gay. No, I was agreeing with you that he's gay and he's married. And that's probably why Martell is, really trying to kick up dust about this, because he's angry, and apparently he didn't have a problem with it previously. It's not until, they get until this divorce. But you know what, you guys, as we're talking this through, here's another damn angle. Y'all jump in the comments and tell me, it ain't even the fact that he doesn't want other men watching his kids. He don't want Melody to get a man and watch his kids. See, that's what it is. I mean, well, it's probably all of the above. Think about it. He's so scared that Melody is going to date a new man and have another man over his kids. So I think it could even be her brother. But now that I really even look at his warped sense of thinking, I think he just is trying to bar, if Melody gets into another relationship, he don't want Melody to maybe be out and about, because I'm sure he ain't above leaving the kids with Shari. I mean, hell, I'm sure he would, or any other woman. I bet you he is concerned that Mel would have a new man and he does not want his kids to be with the new man. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong, because I think I done got that one. Cecilia said he said when they were married it was okay. So that's what I'm saying. You've been around this man. That's her brother. I mean, do you have some information that would lead you to believe that this person is unsafe? No. Now you're just pulling stuff out your ass. You're just pulling it out your ass. Let's be real. Let me see. Okay, I guess I'm missing some of the comments. I'm trying, you guys, because I'm doing the God bless. 1234 says Martell is dangerous. I think he is abusing these kids. Joint custody is going to continue the cycle of abuse. Well, okay, so let me, for those of you that are just joining, I was saying earlier when I started this case is really really personal to me because I went through a really bad custody case and experienced some of the similar antics that Martell is doing to Melody. I got done to me too, going around the school telling other women how much of a trash box I was, all of these things to muddy my name. And so then somebody made the comment, should the custody be changed? And I was saying that I do believe that the kids love their father, even with Stockholm, even with the Stockholm syndrome. Children will still love their abusers, right? Not saying it's good for them, but I really don't want to snatch these kids and put them in an even more situation where they are missing their dad. What I would think is the better solution is that Martell gets some serious counseling, and that maybe they do the family counseling if there is abuse, found. Because I feel like the kids are just being tugged back and forth. The kids are being the pawns, mainly used by him. And that's what I don't want for the kids, because it happens all the time. And so I was going to share this with you guys. So when I was going through my situation, my daughter, because the kids are going between parents. They love both of you guys. They want the approval of both parents, and they witnessed the parents fighting over them. So one time, in my daughter's dad, he was I would say he was a bit of a Martell. Let's be real. Like I have forgiven him. My daughter is successful now. She's doing great. So we're over it. But, there's still scars from it. But anyway, I will say he was a Martell. So it was at the point where we would be at games at the same time. So what we would do is we would make our transitions. Like we would come to the basketball games, like on his weekend, I would still come to the games. And on my weekend, he would come to the games. So one day after the game, I think she was leaving with him. It was one of the days where he was taking her after a basketball game because she played basketball. He had her and they were walking to his car. And I think I was a little bit behind them. We ended up on the same street, AT2, if you still hear Piedmont Avenue, you know where that is. So I was doing a little window shopping, and we ended up meeting up. Let me tell you, my daughter was so and I'm going back to God bless 1234 because you said, I think he's abusing these kids. My daughter saw me. I was like right behind, like we were right, like I could have reached out and touched her. She acted like she didn't see me. She ignored me. My daughter ignored me. I was devastated. I was devastated. I was angry. I was like, how? But as I went through counseling, what I realized is that at the time, she was 8 or 9, because it started around that time. The therapist explained to me it's a coping mechanism. She was afraid because she was with her dad, and she didn't want to make him mad because he was the more dominant parent. So she knew that I was going to love her, that mommy, I could do this to mommy, but I got to make daddy happy. I can't acknowledge my mom. And that went on for, and I'm not saying he did it to her. I don't, want to put it out there that he tried to do anything, but kids interpret and they see things. And so they start to behave in certain ways. And so this happened on a couple of instances where we would all be at the same thing. And when his parenting time, she would not acknowledge me. On my parenting time, she could acknowledge him. It was just the oddest thing to me. And initially, it just broke my heart and made me angry. But like I said, I went through counseling and therapy. They explained the behavior. And I remember another time we were at a basketball game, and one of her little friends, they must have been about what, fourth, fifth grade, I forget. And so we were really close to their family, and his name is Joshua. And little Joshua, she came out of the game because it was her father's weekend, and we were sitting right in the front. I was sitting in the car, me and my mom, just gonna say bye for the weekend. And she went down the stairs and went the opposite way. She didn't come over to the car. She didn't start a car. And Joshua, the little boy, said, "Girl, you better get over here and say hi to your mama." And because, you know what I mean? Because other people it was just odd. But that's how she was coping. So I think the kids do suffer. And I don't even know if he's intentionally, I think it's an abusive behavior, but I don't know if it's intentional. But what I do know is that he needs to get some therapy, y'all. I kind of lost my train of thought when I went back to those situations that occurred with me. I apologize. But that's what happens with the kids. For those of you who have been through that, sometimes they call it parent alienation, but I think sometimes the kids, the less dominant parent, which would have been me, I'm the melody. I buy the gifts and the little stuff, and I'll be like, "Oh, girl, you want to wear that? That's fine." And I remember situations where she would have little pom pom things on. She was a little cheerleader too, stuff that all the other little girls had on. Not to say that they made it right or wrong, but just stuff that little girls wear, those little scrunchies. And she had some purple ones on one day, and he came to pick her up from the house, and she was going down the stairs. She thought she looked cute. He just took his hand and pulled it off her little hair. And she kind of looked up like, "What?" And he said, "I don't like that." Listen, y'all, we're not talking about a 9-year-old with her belly out. We're talking about scrunchies, some purple, silver, like shiny scrunchies. And I was a grown ass woman, so I don't wear scrunchies. But the little kids, the little girls were wearing scrunchies because that's what the kids did. Negro, if you don't like scrunchies, you don't never need to wear them in your hair. But when you take them out of a kid's head, you're teaching them that you don't approve of who they are, what they like. You could have had a conversation. It wasn't nothing wrong. So I go back to what he did to Tank. Even if he didn't like the jewelry Tank had on, even if he didn't think it was appropriate, that's a conversation you have with your son. And then maybe the two parents don't see eye to eye. So you say, "Son, when dad is picking you up, I don't like that." That's one thing, which I don't approve of that either. I just think kids should be free to do certain things unless it's just ridiculous. But that's a conversation you have with your kid. Why is that on the internet? Why did you put that? Why are you telling us that? So you're humiliating your child. So now you're basically giving subliminal messages to his mother's parenting, and you're saying that you don't approve of some of the choices he made. You're just condemning your kids. That is abuse to me. So God bless. 1, 2, 3, 4. I probably went all the way around the bend on that question right there. But let me see. Cecilia says he's always talked down to Mel. He is jealous of her until he does right by Mel and those kids. Everything he touches will fail. God knows and sees all, even when we don't as spectators. Amen, Cecilia. You are absolutely right. And I'm going to say, all the ladies who have been through this, y'all know at the end of the day, if you keep praying and you stay on them knees, you got to get your counseling, you got to stay strong. It all works out. Because the kids, at the time when I was going through it, of course, I didn't know. People would tell me, "She'll see, keep your mouth closed." And I'm going to be honest, you guys, I didn't keep my mouth closed. I did talk. I mean, when you're going through the mediators, they say you shouldn't talk to kids about certain things. There are certain things you should talk to. But I think as a parent, you really can't tell me as a mother the things that I think knowing my kid's temperament, what I need to talk to her about. Like, I don't see how you can regulate a relationship, but those are private things. Like, I would not go back to the school and go in front of people and say all the stuff that, you know, our private secrets or conversations. No, I wouldn't do that. But I think that you do have to talk to your children. And again, people would tell me in due time, she'll understand. And they would tell me, don't say anything, just let her. I didn't listen to that. I would tell her things. I ain't gonna lie. I would say, you know, I don't know, I don't think that's right, you know what. And you know, she would come to me sometimes crying because of the things that he did, and I would say, Dad is right. Nope. I'd be like, yeah, that's not cool. But anyway, you know, I would talk to her about it, and a lot of people said that that's wrong. That whatever the other parent does in their household, you shouldn't have an opinion about it. I had an opinion about it. I did. I did. Me and my daughter, we was like, that was my breath, my air. So yeah, I talked to her. But eventually, as she grew older, because she's 22 now, she is able to see, and now she tells me, you know, once they get to a certain age, they just start seeing things like, you gonna make me come to your house and I'm 16? No, I'm not coming. Mom, you need to call the police or do what you need to do. I'm not going. You can't make me go. And then in California, I think the age that they can decline going to the other parent is legally 18, but for the most part, I think when they get about 12 or 13, like almost high school, if they want to talk to the judge and all that stuff, they won't make them go for the most part. Again, it depends on the judge. It depends on the situation. It depends on if they feel that you as a parent have if you've done any kind of parent alienation. If you have a history of doing what he's doing, see, that's the thing. Some of this stuff I think is going to backfire on Martell, because if you're the parent who is being dominant over the other parent, publicly humiliating and all those things, more than likely they're not going to increase your parenting time. I learned that. And also, they're not going to increase your parent. I lost my train of thought. But anyway, they're not going to increase your time. Let me go back to I'm sitting up here looking out the window as I'm thinking about some of this stuff. Tamika says he don't want Marcus to pull that whiteboard out on him again. Okay, and you know Marcus, he can read. He can read. At Tamika Williams, I thought the same thing. Tamika Williams, LOL. God bless 1, 2, 3, 4. Allegedly, Coleslaw is working as an aide in assisted living facility. Right. Remember, initially she was supposed to have been a nurse. And that clothing line, that's another thing. Remember when she came out and she was talking about Knox being sick, and that Martell had slipped up and called Melody her name, and then she said a code to her boutique was double sick. And I did a video and I was saying, first of all, you won't have no blessings. God will not bless anything that you do in chaos. Like, you sitting up here taunting a woman who, you know, slept with her husband and had a baby by, and now you're trying to put a discount code for some clothing, double sick, to get back at the woman who ain't done ish to you. You done came in and helped disrupt her life, and you think that's cute. So now you in a nursing facility. I hope wiping you behind. I really do. I do. My mom was a nurse, but I hope you wiping somebody's, you know what. I believe if Mariah asked him why he cheated, he would blame Mel for it instead of being you know what? And you know that video that he showed us of Mel? Oh yeah, y'all, we got to talk about that too. That video that he showed of Mel, he needs to trash that. Because first of all, you know, there were some people saying, well, maybe he's right. How do y'all know Martell ain't right? Maybe Melody was cheating. Hell, maybe she was. I don't know. That video don't prove nothing. If that was their attorney or whatever, they were sitting there talking business. And what? You had a baby. That's evidence. Okay, so what is his point? The woman was sitting there having a dinner, having a conversation with an attorney. I mean, and so what? That would be thrown out as far as I'm concerned, because that proves nothing. Like, what does that prove? Nothing. He was a special education teacher, and that's really too. Was he really a special ed teacher, or did he just kind of walk the kids around? Like, you know, my cousin, he worked at a home where he worked with kids that, had mental disabilities. He wasn't a teacher. He was just like the person that walked them around. And I think that's probably what Martell did. I don't know. I really don't see him being much of a teacher per se. I could be wrong. That's the real tea. Denise says, I don't know which tea she talking about, but child, because it's so much. Cecilia says, boom. If Martell was a teacher, I'm so afraid. Ooh, girl. Right. How could you be a teacher and not have the compassion to understand what you're putting your kids through? I will at least say the man I dealt with, he was just ignorant. Y'all, this is Martell. Martell does have an attorney. My situation, the man was his own attorney. Now, you know what they say. I forget the saying. They said when you have your own self as an attorney, you have a fool for an attorney, because that's about the size of it. And Martell strikes me as that type of guy. They so arrogant, they think they can go up against a judge with no law degree. Are you kidding me? That's definitely it. Because from what she posts, and I'm sure he watches, he can't tell if she's dating or not. Exactly. She keeps her stuff private. She don't be out there, and she ain't all over town. I don't think that Melody is the type of woman that's going to have a whole bunch of different men over her kids anyway. Even when I dated, I only have one out of the one man that my daughter ever met. And dating is just not something you can really do, when you're trying to raise kids. And she got 4, and she's busy as hell. And also, I believe that she would be a responsible enough parent that her dating life would be on her time, her off schedule when Martell has the kids. So I don't even see that being an issue. Denise Long says, at God Bless 1234, they said he taught special education. How ironic, right? When he should have been a prime student, right? At Denise Long, oh my God, sis. Cecilia Anderson says, he can't stop that. If Mel dates, he can be around the kids, cannot sleep over while she has the kids, and vice versa. Right. No, neither one of them can stop what the other parent does on their parenting time. For me, I had an issue with my daughter being around, going to adult parties, because I was not the type of person to drink and stuff around my kid or have her in adult environments. And so that was something that I didn't want. But the judge let me know that, unfortunately, when she's in the custody of the other parent, not much you could do. So those are the things that make you sick, because you're like, well, if my kid is, there were times that I heard, now I don't know, I have no proof of this, but we talk about it now, that she would be at parties where she was the only kid and they would be drinking. Well, my concern about something like that is people, grown-ups drinking and stuff, that's how kids get touched. If grown-ups are drinking and stuff, you don't need to be the only kid around a bunch of grown-ass people. That's just not how I live. But, given my circumstances, I had to deal with it. And I had to try to talk to her and explain to her how to keep herself safe and what to watch out for. So, these things happen. It's real. That's Alabama law under the parenting clause. Angel Jones says, think about it. If Mel has to call him every time she needs a sitter, Martell would always know Mel's schedule, where she's going, etc. He is not the type of person you want knowing your business. And Angel, I agree with you. And another thing, what happens is that he's asking for first right of refusal. So he's saying that anytime she does something that he should get, babysitting, or not, I don't say babysitting because it's his kids, but they should come be with him. The part about that, in certain states, if that happens too many times, then they can make the case that, well, you're not around the kid. So I think that's what he's trying to get to. He's trying to, say, well, she's gone X amount of time. So, 50% of the time, or whatever percentage he's trying to use. And so I think it's very wise of Mel not to give him first right of a refusal, or however you say it, because he will use it against her. That's another thing. Mel, again, like myself, she just took this man on vacation. That's what they said. I was always to try to be the peacemaker. No matter how dirty he did me, I was always like, okay, it can't get no worse than this. This is as low as he gonna go. I still got hope we can co-parent and get along. Shoot. One of my friends said, just when you think he's gone as low as he can go, he gonna go one lower, and he ain't he ain't never lied. I mean, every time I try to be, gracious and work with him, no, he would do something and make me look like a fool. So Melody, yeah, I mean, you got to stick to the parenting plan. It's unfortunate you can't cut no slack, because that person, you'll do a favor for them. You ask them to change. Oh no, we stick it to the rules. You'd be like, huh? But they don't give a damn. That's a narc for you. Denise Long says, I think after today with that video, the judge will probably rethink her decision regarding joint custody, because the judge and child welfare put the children first, or at least supposed to. Yeah, the judge, most of the cases, the bottom line is they always tell you what's in the best interest of the kids. That's the mantra. What's in the best interest of the kids. But I don't know that. I know he's not going to get full custody. I know that. But in terms of the judge changing the custody plan, I don't know, because of what I will say is that the judge will just bar him from doing it again. See, that's the thing. For those of you who have been through custody, I'm sure you already know, once the parent does something, by the time it gets in front of the judge, it's kind of a moot point unless you have an emergency hearing to address it within maybe a week or two of when it occurred. It's a after the fact kind of thing. And usually what the judge will do is just bar you from doing it again. So unfortunately, it's not like a lot of action is taken, again, unless it's really, really egregious or something that, really puts the kids in harm. I mean, of course, we know that this is horrible what he did, but usually it happens because it's after the fact. The judge will just say, so-and-so, don't do this again. You'll be sanctioned or whatever. So I don't think, and the judge will probably definitely say, don't do that again, I would think. But in terms of it really impacting the custody, I don't see that that's one of the, because they kind of tell you the elements that can affect your custody, and parent alienation is one. Stuff like this, I don't know. Maybe they could make that a point of parent alienation. Maybe her attorneys could, do that. I hope that they can. At God Bless 1234 and Mel taught English. Yes, I saw that he was saying that he retired her, and about the fact that he was able to write, his own stuff. At God Bless 1234, he didn't have too much to do too much. It wasn't mentally challenging, more physical. That's true. Now the whiteboard. I have full okay, so Twitlock 1000 said, I have full custody of my child and didn't fight her. I would talk to her, let her know that I was there for her. She wanted to live with her father, and that was okay. Until she got 10, she was back. I have full custody of my child and didn't fight her. I would talk to her, let her know I was there for her. She wanted to live with her father, and that was okay until she got 10. Yeah, I mean, that's how I started, was being okay with it. I was shocked because it was like, well, why do you want to do this? And also because he wanted child support. So when he sued me for child support, now that kind of pissed me off. Like, you ain't giving me child support. See, men also, they think that if they give you money, that's child support. That's not child support. Child support is court ordered. So even if they give you money every month, that's not child support. But I think that's cool, that you let her live with her dad and let her make the decision. I like that. I mean, that's the type of parent I am. I'm flexible. If you cool with it, fine. But when my daughter said, no, I don't want to go, I don't want to live 50-50. And I just felt that was too disruptive. No. Cecilia said, if a child can consent to medical treatment at 12, he better be very careful, because the courts will assign them an advocate. Yes, they can. I forget what that's called. Somebody said it before. I always forget what that's called. But yeah, they can have the independent attorney, and that's even more money. And I hope it doesn't get to that point. What's really interesting to me is the fact that they're having a trial. In my custody case, we just kept having continuations and hearings to revisit and review custody. We never had a trial. So I don't know about that process. Like, once you have a trial, is it final? Cecilia, can you let us know in Alabama courts, how does that work? I'm pretty sure you could have trials in California as well, but I never saw any case get to that level in terms of custody. So when I heard that it was a trial, I was like, wow, that's deep. Trial is pretty big, because I mean, I don't know. They both said that in season 1. Oh, okay. Not in Alabama. Whoever you're dating can sleep over while it's your time. Oh yeah, yeah. The person. Let me tell you what. Even in my situation, the first thing that I asked the you guys, 1 second. Let me hold on 1 second. So when our situation, he wanted to get the joint custody. He had a 1 bedroom condo, and I told the judge, like, she has her own bedroom with me. Like, can you make him get her? She's a girl. She was 8, turning 9 at the time. I said, can you order him to get a bigger apartment? Well, he had a condo. Well, but he needs a 2 bedroom. And the judge told me absolutely not. In California, um, the kid does not have to have their own bedroom. And I don't want to quote it because I don't remember, but even if there are 2 gender children, the parent doesn't have to have separate bedrooms up until maybe a certain age. So, I mean, look, it gets crazy. It gets crazy. Yes, Cecilia, that's true. That's another thing. Documentation. Oh my, but you can imagine, you guys, your whole life becomes documentation. Everything is documented. It's just like, who wants to deal with that? Like, why do people get to the point where they hate each other so much? You can't come to some civil agreements about your kids because you don't want to live under that. I guarantee you, the decisions that the courts make against you are going to be far harder to live with. And that's another thing that they used to tell us. They used to say, if you guys could get together and come up with a plan on your own, it's going to be easier than us doing it for you. You're not going to probably like what we rule. And they ain't lied about that. God bless 1234 says, I think the courts are going to view Martell's behavior as unhinged. This is not going to. I said that. Of course it is. All of this, everything you say can and will be used against you. People forget that. All of this is going to bar him from getting full custody. First of all, he's not going to get it because she's not the kind of parent who, would typically, not have a right to have her kids. But this kind of stuff, his behavior is going to work against him. That's another thing. I had something. Unfortunately, my mouse isn't working, but I had a little article on how to survive custody. And there's some things that, as women, that we can do to kind of set ourselves up for success, so that, that the it's kind of swinging in your favor for your kid. But Martell is doing damn near everything they tell you not to do. And even in California, even though it's a 50-50, custody state, they tell men, be careful. I mean, they tell them because you're perceived as the more dominant, just the physical and all these things. So they even tell them, be careful, because sometimes your behaviors can be viewed as abusive or domineering and stuff like that. And some men still make the same mistake. They caution them. They try to tell them things that they can do so that they, can be more, it can be more favorable if you're having a contentious custody situation, which I don't think Martell is paying attention to his attorneys. Not sure about a trial for custody, but definitely go before the judge and can be sworn in. Yes, that's what I did. But they keep saying trial. So, I mean, going before the judge is just like a hearing, or, a motion for such and such, and you have a hearing. But they're saying trial. So I'm thinking that it's an actual trial. And, I need to look that up. And if it's a custody trial, is there a jury or is it just the judge? That's interesting. I don't know anything about a custody trial. Cecilia says, if they're going before a judge, it's because mediation didn't work. Courts want you to try the mediation first. Yeah, we did the mediation, but we still had to go. I think in California, mediation, unless you can agree on something, yeah, you will go to the judge and the mediator will prepare it, and then the judge will make the final order. So the mediator will make a proposal, or at least for us is the way it worked. The mediator met with both of us, with our daughter independently, with us together, and then they kind of view your parenting skills. They make an assessment, and then they make a recommendation to the judge. And then when you go to court, you and your attorney, whatever, you address the issues, whatever the mediator said, and then the judge will make the determination. Now, what I found out is that typically 9 times out of 10, because the courts are, just overwhelmed with cases, they usually go with what the mediator says. So fortunately for me, as I said earlier on Chef Don's page, I was able to get the mediator removed, the first mediator, because, some women will go against another woman, especially if the man is attractive, which, as much as I can't stand a man, he wasn't hard on the eyes. So, sometimes women would look at that and they would just assume, just like with Martell, like, how is Shari even with this dude? Like, you looking at the physical, you're not looking at what's inside of his dark heart. You can't be. But women will look at the outer and be like, oh, he can't be that. Oh, she's wrong. And if he's doing this woman like that, you can imagine what he's going to do to you. Shari, if he left this girl with a new baby, you can imagine what he will do to you. Why would you even align yourself with that kind of energy? Oh, some people are saying it's for a fake storyline. I guess. I don't know. But you guys, thank you guys for coming. Y'all have been with me for 1 hour and 41 minutes. I am going to sign off. Let's just keep Melody in prayer. I know we are. Let's ask God to touch Martell's heart. Anything that was meant for evil, please, lessen it and protect those kids. That's the most important thing. Little Tank saying he cried. No, we don't want the kids to be in pain. And for any other women out there going through a situation like this, find support groups. Call into some of these shows. Talk about it, so that you can get people, to align yourself with other women and get with women like me who have gone through it, who made it to the other side and we survived, because you will survive. It may not feel like it, but you're going to be all right. And the kids, they will be all right. I know it's hard. Oh, God, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard. I lost so much weight. But anyway, you guys, wait, let me see. Cecilia says, I reported my attorney. Girl, you are my sister, honey, because we could probably help be with Melody and be telling her everything to do and get Martell's behind kicked out of court. Okay. I reported my attorney to the bar because the judge asked my attorney, why was she answering for him and not his attorney? So I got my money back and filed a complaint. Exactly. You got to pay attention. You got to be your own best advocate. That's what you have to do. I mean, see, all of my attorneys were white. I'm in California. And the mediators were white. But I had been a litigation secretary. So I told my attorneys some stuff that they needed to check out. See, they're not, the attorneys, you paying them $250, $300 an hour, something like that. They getting that off just to show up to court. They're not going to put all that elbow work in your case. So you got to read and pay attention and know what they shouldn't be doing. And I like what you said. Why are you answering for him? No. And I'm going to report you to the bar. I have threatened to do everything. Okay. I'm with you, girl. I am with you. Joyce Hardiman says, this is terrible. He set his daughter up. Yes. Not only did he set her up, though, why did he bring it to social media? Can you imagine what Mariah's friends are possibly going to say? Can you imagine how, if this gets around the school, all of the people talking, all of the people looking? It's just sad. It's just sad. It's sad, I know Melody will be all right. And I hope I see you guys again. Again, I want to shout out to Chef Don and Hey Girl Hey. They have everything every day. I'll be working, so I don't always get to come live or even do a video. But again, let's just keep Mel in prayer. And all of you guys, thank you for your comments. I hope to see you again. And y'all have a good night. All right. Bye.